The wine-dark sea, a realm of mystery, of immense power, it stretches beyond the horizon, vast, unknowable. This was Poseidon's kingdom, Earthshaker, Stormbringer, his trident, a symbol of absolute authority over the waves. He commanded the tempests. The currents obeyed his will. The creatures of the deep were his subjects, his silent army. And in this sprawling, liquid cosmos, a vendetta simmered. A god's anger, patient and cold, awaited one mortal man, Odysseus. King of Ithaca, hero of Troy, a clever man. He had faced monsters. He had outsmarted sorceresses, but the sea itself, in its raw, untamed fury, was different. This was not an enemy to be tricked with a wooden horse. This was an elemental force. This was more than a simple feud, more than a god versus a man. It was a symbolic battle, a grand cosmic drama. Poseidon represented the untamed forces of nature, wild, chaotic. His power was raw, emotional, and overwhelmingly vast. He was the storm that sinks ships without warning, the earthquake that shatters cities, the unpredictable surge of the unconscious, the primal depths. He did not operate on logic, but on impulse, on divine prerogative. His anger, once kindled, burned like an underwater volcano, relentless and fierce. Odysseus, in contrast, embodied human reason, logic, cunning. He was the master strategist, the man of many wiles, his mind, his greatest weapon. The island of the Cyclops, a land outside human law. Here lived Polyphemus, a son of Poseidon, a giant shepherd. Odysseus and his men, driven by hunger and curiosity, entered his cave. A fatal miscalculation, a trespass into a brutal primal world. Polyphemus trapped them, devoured some. A scene of raw horror. This was not a battle of wits initially, it was a struggle for survival against a creature of immense strength and limited foresight. Odysseus the trickster had to find a way, or perish. He offered the giant potent wine, a gift that disarmed. "My name is nobody," Odysseus declared, a clever, fateful lie. Then the gruesome act, the sharpened stake, the single blazing eye. A scream of agony echoed, a giant, blinded and enraged. Polyphemus cried out to his brothers, "Nobody is hurting me!" They departed, confused. Odysseus's trick had worked. Poseidon's revenge was not swift, it was not a sudden, merciful end. The god could have sunk Odysseus's ship in an instant, a single mighty wave, but that was not his design. His anger was a slow burn, a meticulous craft. He sought not just to destroy Odysseus, but to break him, to make him understand the full extent of a god's displeasure. This was a torment spread over years across countless leagues of hostile water. Each storm a deliberate push off course, each calm a false hope. The ocean became a canvas for Poseidon's artistic cruelty. Odysseus, the master planner, found his plans constantly thwarted. He would set a course for Ithaca, the winds would turn against him, he would find a safe harbor. A new peril would emerge, Circe's island, the Sirens' Call, Scylla and Charybdis. Were these all orchestrated by Poseidon, or simply the universe's indifference, amplified by a god's ill will? The lines blur. The effect was the same prolonged agony. The ancient Greeks personified the ocean's power as Poseidon, a bearded god wielding a trident, stirring the waters to fury. This was their framework for understanding a world full of danger, a world where a calm sea could turn into a raging maelstrom without warning. Their myths were not just stories, they were early attempts at explanation, a way to give agency to the inexplicable, to the overwhelming. Poseidon's anger was a metaphor for the ocean's capricious, destructive capabilities. The sudden storm, the rogue wave, the unseen current dragging ships to their doom. Science offers a different lens, but the awe remains. We understand plate tectonics, the source of earthquakes and tsunamis, earth-shaking. We study fluid dynamics, the complex dance of currents and waves. Meteorology explains the birth of hurricanes, immense storms born over warm waters. These are not the whims of a vengeful god. They are natural processes, governed by the laws of physics, predictable to a degree. After 20 long years, Odysseus finally neared Ithaca, not through his own cunning alone, not by outwitting Poseidon. Other gods intervened, Athena, his protector, Zeus, seeking balance. And perhaps Poseidon's rage had run its course, or achieved its aim. He arrived alone. Shipwrecked, stripped of all glory, disguised as a beggar. Unrecognizable in his own land, this was the fruit of Poseidon's relentless pursuit. Humiliation, loss, The proud king brought low, the master strategist humbled by fate. This transformation was crucial. Odysseus had to learn surrender, not to his enemies, but to forces larger than himself. His intellect, his defining trait, had its limits. He could not control the winds. He could not command the waves.